Welcome to the Lace 'em Up Podcast. I am your host, Dappadito, and we back like we never left. Since we back, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I greatly appreciate it. Today's episode is going to be a little different. So, we still having a podcast, but we're going to talk about gifts. Alright? We're going to talk about the importance of gifts and the importance of your gift. And how you use it, how you identify it, all the beautiful things that come with a gift. Okay? So, I was recently shooting a podcast, had a guest on, Art of a Woman, phenomenal artist. Found out we both from Mo City, Houston, Texas. Shout out to H-Town. But during the interview, she said something. She mentioned something, and it just struck a chord with me. First, let's hear what she had to say.
Listen, you want custom shoes, that's gonna take some bucks. Whatever you have for the price, go ahead and raise them up. Better get your spot now for what's taken up. When it's all said and done, my guy, lace them up. Come on, lace them up.
Well, I'd say make a plan A. And if plan A is your art, you stick with plan A. There's never a plan B. Never. Plan A doesn't work, you make another plan A. But plan A is your art, you stick with it. And understand that that's who you are. An artist is not something you become. It's not something you can study to do. It's not. It's something you are. It's who you are. It's something you're born with. It's a gift. It's an absolute gift that not very many people can do. It's not something anybody can duplicate. It's an absolute gift. It's like being a singer. You're born with it or you're not born with it. Or being a dancer. You're born to dance or you're not. Nobody could have taught Chris Brown how to dance. I don't care how, and nobody could teach me art. There's just, I can learn techniques, but me as an artist, I am who I am. And so somebody starting out, you have to realize you are who you are and stick with that. And there's always going to be people that say, oh, you should do this, or you should do that, or change this kind of art, or you should do that. And you just have to kind of not internalize that and realize that everybody's going to have something to say about a career, your career. But that's just what it is. It's just noise.
Absolutely phenomenal information, right? So, talking about your gift and talking about it, it's not something that could be taught to you, right? It's something that you naturally have, right? So, I want to walk you through something real quick. So, for a very, very long time in my life, over 20 years, I've worked in education. And one of the places I started off early in my in education was being a recruiter. Okay, recruiters are the ones that go out and talk to high school students or people in the workforce or whomever, and kind of talk to them about college and the things that they need to do to get in, and so on and so forth, and kind of take you and lead you on the path of figuring out what you want to do with your life. And one of the questions that I would always get, and I love this question, right? Or statements, really. Not so much of a question. I would ask a question, and people, what do you want to do? And they would say, I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. So I would always ask them a couple of questions, right? First of all, what are you passionate about? Okay. Second of all, what is your gift? And third of all, what did you inherit? Right? I think those things are extremely important when you try to figure out who you are, what you're supposed to do, what your purpose is, right? So, this is how I would break it down to them, okay? So, one, what are you passionate about? What is the thing that you feel like I can't live without, right? And I always talk to young people, so I would say outside of your boyfriend, girlfriend, and your phone, right? So what is that one thing that you're passionate about that, that wakes you up at night, that you just dream about and can't wait to get to? The thing that puts you in a place of being engaged, right? What is that thing? What are you passionate about? Two, what is your gift? What is your naturally born given gift, right? A lot of times we tend to overlook the gift because it comes to us way too easy, right? It comes to us easy. You've heard famous people, you heard goats as we call them, right? You heard Jay-Z say, he thought this was something that he can throw away because writing came too easy for him. And now he's known for writing without having to write, right? So, what is the gift that you've been given, that you have, right? Whether it's speaking to people, whether it's drawing, and in this case, it's being creative and being an artist, because that's who we talk to and interview on this podcast, okay? And then the last thing, what did you inherit? I don't think it's an accident or an incident that people who are lawyers have kids who are lawyers. People who are doctors have kids who are doctors. People who are in law enforcement have kids who are in law enforcement. So on and so forth. Because you grow up hearing and seeing that language and the lifestyle and everything that comes with it. So where do you fit in those things, right? But today I want to talk to you about gifts. Okay? One of the questions I ask on this podcast quite a bit to different artists is, what made you get into art? How did you fall in love with art? But before we get to that, and before we hear some of their responses, oh man, this is going to be dope, and how it ties stuff back together, there's a scripture that I'm thinking about that specifically speaks to gifts. Knowledge. You guys remember knowledge, right? Knowledge. Hey, do me a favor and find the scripture that speaks about gifts.
The Bible verse you're looking for is Proverbs 18:16, which states, "A man's gift makes room for him, and brings him before great men." The gift can refer to a literal, valuable present given to gain favor, or it can refer to a personal talent or skill that opens doors and creates opportunities, bringing the individual before influential people and into positions of greater influence. Interpreting Proverbs 18:16, literal gift. In ancient Eastern cultures, giving a gift was a proper and acceptable way to show respect, appease others, and curry favor, smoothing the way for the giver to gain access to influential people and desired outcomes. Talent or skill. The verse can also be interpreted as a person's inherent talent or natural ability. Developing and utilizing one's gifts can lead to opportunities, bringing them before important people and allowing them to advance in their career or calling. Opening doors. Regardless of whether it's a present or a talent, the core idea is that a gift creates opportunities, enlarges a person's sphere of influence, and makes room for them to enter new and influential circles. In essence, Proverbs 18:16 suggests that a gift, whether a tangible offering or a cultivated ability, serves as a means to open opportunities and gain recognition from important figures.
Thank you, knowledge. Proverbs 18:16. That's the scripture that we're looking for. Okay, now, basically it's saying that your gifts will make a way for you. Okay, whether it's a gift or it's a talent gift or a gift that you give away. Okay, that's the thing that puts you in the space, in the rooms that you need to be in, and create opportunities, right? So, please listen to these different people who've been on the podcast and hear what they said about where the art start for them, right? And you'll hear some of the things that I'm talking about right here in these moments, okay? So, first up, I believe we have Miss Gigi Rogers with Puck and Chaos. This is what she had to say when I asked her the question.
It probably came from watching my dad paint when I was younger. He is a big artist in our family, or he was. He doesn't do it as much anymore. But definitely that creative expression, especially in using color, most likely came from there. And then my interpretation and how I use it, whether it be in makeup or it be on sneakers, yeah, I use it everywhere. Splashes of just art everywhere. Any way for me to express myself almost anywhere. And it's always like a bag of Skittles kind of exploding into the scene. So,
Yeah, so there you go. Comes from her father, being around her father, seeing him do it, and then having that gift for herself. Something she inherited. Ah, yeah, I know. You think I'm blowing smoke, right? You think I'm blowing smoke. Alright, cool. Let's see what Offbeat said about his. This episode of the Lace My Podcast is brought to you by Davidito Designs. Davidito Designs is my website. It's where you can go and cop some merch. You can also put in a request for some custom shoes, and we can bring whatever idea that you may have in your mind to life on a pair of custom shoes. Back to the podcast.
Oh man, since I was like three, because my mom painted like canvases, stuff like that. My granddad painted. So when I was like 11, I was leaving like my junior pro basketball game and going over to this old lady's house and taking like oil painting lessons. So like I've been getting art kits for birthday presents and Christmas presents since I was a little kid. So that always just kind of came natural, really. Um, I went from tattooing, like most. I've seen tons of shoe artist people who they always like started out tattooing on their friends, putting terrible, awful tattoos on other kids when they're young, and then they go on to doing shoes because the two things just matched perfect. Because I already loved shoes and then art.
Mm, there you go. There's another one, right? Started when he's young and started honing it when he was young, right? Start going and learning how to paint from an art teacher. But it's something that he's already did. It was a gift he already had, something that he developed, right? So now, maybe you believe me. I figured you did it. I figured you didn't. So here's some more. Listen, Art of a Woman. This is what she had to say.
I've always been an artist. Always, I was born that way. My mother was a creative. My brother's a creative. I was just born that way. As far as I can remember, I've been expressing myself through art, through whatever means we had. I didn't have access to art school or art crafts or papers or pencils and markers and all that. So I drew on whatever I could, which was primarily clothes or shoes or paper or myself or, my nails, anything that I had to express myself when I was younger is what I drew on and made art out of trash, anything.
There you have it again, right? Something that she inherited, right? Something she's been doing since she was a kid. Something that lit a fire under her, right? Something that was a way that she expressed herself, right? It was art. It's her gift, okay? Maybe three of them is not enough, right? So let's hear from Derek, all right? Shout out to DC and hear what he had to say about his journey.
The art started for me when I was a kid. Um, my big brother was an art. He was a heck of a drawer, and I can remember this like yesterday. And I was probably around about 6, 7 years old. He did this drawing. I tried to do it too, and I did it really well. First time ever doing it. And from that point, I just kept going and going and going. I didn't meet my dad till I was around about 23, something like that. And a lot about him, he was an artist too. And he was in the Vietnam War. He used to draw, portraits of his buddies, send back home. He did that and everything. And I found all that about him when I got to meet him. And I've been an artist all my life, self-taught. Never took a class of art in my day of my life.
There you go again. Another one. And his situation or story is very, very interesting. If you ever go watch this episode, he started a full sip and paint business, right? From self-taught art. And found out much later in his life that art is something that he inherited. It was a gift that was passed down from his father, who he didn't even know until he was much, much older. Okay? Once again, starting from a kid, right? Something that is a gift. Right? Okay. Maybe let's hear from our wonderful guest who was on, Queen of Kicks from over in the UK. Let's see what she had to say.
Always painted. I can remember my mum told me that, like I was something like 3 when I picked up my first crayons or pencils and a bit of paper and I was drawing birds from the garden and stuff. And just loved it. I don't know, it's just something that you've got in you, isn't it? I think. And so from then onwards, I'd always enjoyed art. I used to do loads of portraits and things. That's kind of my thing, really, I guess. So I'd be painting in other media like pastels, coloured pencils, and things like that. So the painting is more recent, as I say. When I started doing the shoes, I picked up the paints. Really, I'd never really painted until that time. So
Yeah.
massive learning curve. And thank goodness that there was loads of people on Instagram that, that I could follow and get all the tips and stuff from.
There you have it again, people. Started from 3 years old, sketching and drawing, and then going into painting. I asked you, what is your gift? Right? What is your gift? Okay? Matter of fact, down below in the comment section, share with us, what is your gift? What is your gift? Right? What is your story? Okay? Okay? Alright, cool. I got another one for you. KBK came on. I asked him the same question. Where does it come from, man? Where does this business acumen come from? Where does this art come from? Right? This is what he had to say.
I've been like this since I was little. Like I've been saying I've been wanting to I was trying to be an entrepreneur since I was a little kid. Like telling my parents like I don't want no job. Like, but I've been like that since little kid, just having that hustle mentality. Like from selling candy, cutting grass, walking dog if I got to. Like I'm washing cars. I'm really just doing anything I can just to. And I'm in sports too though. So in summertime you got practice in the morning and all that. You busy doing football season and sports, and then I'm trying to enjoy my summer. So, and then during the school year, you got sports and school and stuff like that. So I was just always doing anything just to get some money, just the good way though. But just having that hustle mentality. So sneakers just offer that service where I can do something that is not normal. Doing sneakers. This isn't a business that has steps ahead that you can just follow for the success. This is really something different that you really just have to make your own way for it, honestly, and just see where it takes you. So I don't know. That confidence just came from honestly me just believing in myself. I always say to myself that success ain't got an age requirement, and the only way I'm gonna get there is through me. A lot of people could tell me what to do, but I'm the one who got to go do it. So there's no point in having an excuse to go do it. If I want to go get it.
There you have it. Another one. Right? Always been this way. Right? Here's the thing about KBK. That was not mentioned in that space. Right? His father's also an artist. He's also into art, and he does art. It's a passion. He went and developed his skills. Said he wanted to own his own business, do his own thing. He don't want to work for nobody else. He went to college for business, and he inherited the art. Right? Are you catching this? Oh, I got one more for you. She goes by half and half. We had a great episode. We had a lot of parallels as well, but great episode. And this is what she had to say about it.
The best, but art has always been something that I've always had. You catch me with a coloring book, a doodle pad, something at all times when I was little. So growing up, I'm always the one. When I was in high school and student council, I would make all the posters, I would make all the shirts. So when I got to like an adult place and I was able to kind of paint on my own shoes, when I had old shoes and I couldn't get new shoes for school, I would just paint my shoes a different color so it looks like I had I had something new, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when I grew up and I got adult money, I was like, wait a minute, I could buy airbrushes and sewing machines and all kinds of stuff. So I have that little how hard could it be gene. So I just try any and everything, and sometimes it works out. I actually started I played flag football. And a couple of my teammates asked me to paint their shoes. And I was kind of like okay, like I'll try it. Let's see how it goes. Got the paint for it. Some of them, like one of them bought the paint for it and was like, just try it, see how it comes out. Ended up coming out cool. That's why a lot of the work that I do ends up on cleats now. But yeah, and then it started there and it kind of just spiraled in the right direction, I guess. It's honestly family oriented. Like my brother is super, super, super artistic. All of my tattoos and stuff, he does all my tattoos. My dad draws, he's painted all my life. Like he like whittles into wood. My brother cuts hair, I cut hair. My mom's a cosmetologist. She can paint and draw. My sister can draw. Like it's kind of just been I've always had a creative household, I guess I should say. Like that's just, and it's the easiest thing you can't go wrong with like a creative gift. You know what I mean?
Guys, that's over a handful of people right there telling you the same thing, right? And this is what I used to tell people all the time. Like, what you're supposed to be doing comes from one of those three places. I know they only talked about two, right? What was their gift and what they inherited, which in this case just happened to be their gift, right? Now, the last part of that, okay? And we're going back to the scripture real quick because the scripture said, right? Part of it was a gift that you had, and the other part was a literal gift of giving away, okay? This is a place that I struggle, okay? Be honest with you, this is a place that I struggle. But I recently had two different artists on the podcast, and this is what they shared about taking their gift and giving it away and what opportunities came from it.
But it's finally starting to move though. Like it's once Instagram took the restriction off, and I did. Well, I'm just now started my second giveaway. So I did a giveaway, just something to get people to share my page. That was the biggest thing. And so the first giveaway, I didn't really put any money on it, like an ad, but it gained me like 300 followers over the course of like 5 days. So I was like, okay, I just got to maybe keep doing that. So I just started the second one, and I know it's got like 4,000 views maybe right now, but so maybe this one will be the one. That and that coach getting these shoes next week.
Offbeat. Thank you. He grew his platform by gifting his own work, right? By gifting his own work. Okay. Now let's hear what Serato had to say about it.
A good portion. I say it's definitely hit or miss. You're gambling for sure. You gotta pay to play. A lot of people don't want to do that. So you're gonna get burned for sure every now and again. But I'd say I probably hit on 60% of the shoes I've given out for free. A lot of stuff. I'd be a lot bigger name if I'd got the other 40%. But some people you wouldn't believe are on that list there, just taking shit for free and not doing nothing. But I'd say total maybe a couple hundred pairs have gone out for free, something like that. So definitely got to spread it around. Yeah, it's part of the game, right? So you got to look at it like this, and this is how I think about it. Is I'm basing most of my stuff on content nowadays, right? Like I started off in the Etsy lane and the actually having I had shoes lined up down the wall, spraying them all red, all rainbow Hirachis, and selling a million of these things on Etsy, right? Like that's one way you could go. But then I realized that that's all I'm ever going to do, right? So if I want to transition into artwork and I want to actually sell pieces and be known as an artist that people seek out for this kind of thing, right? I found that a lot of the times, I may be giving out a lot of, money per se in shoes and free gifts to millionaires and whoever's that could buy their own things. But what you're doing is you're getting yourself right next to these people. And what I make my money from and where I make my money back from these shoes pretty much every time, 100 times over, is every single time I'm with them, I'm getting them to sign something. I'm getting them to take pictures. I'm using that for Instagram. I'm getting them to, be in videos. I'm getting them to be on YouTube videos. You do a YouTube video with XYZ or with LaMelo Ball or whoever, you might do 1 million views on, YouTube, and you might get paid $2,000 just for that. And then all of a sudden that shoes that you just gave out don't really seem like much, It seems like, oh, he did me the favor almost. So it's one of those things that you just gotta, weigh those, cost, benefits, and is it worth it? Is it not? And can you afford to give it out? That's the other thing. Don't do it if you can't afford it, but if you can, it's a good way to get rolling.
Yeah, risk versus reward for sure.
Shoot. Don't start with the stars. Don't start hitting up Chris Paul and everybody else on the first day. Start with Instagram models. Start with influencers, guys that sit at their home and make content all day long, but they got a million followers on Instagram. Those are the people that are like, oh, you want to send me something for free? Bet. I'll post it. Yeah. I'll put it up. I'll do this. You start working with those guys, you'll get to the bigger names. They'll see stuff and it'll start trickling downward.
That's good stuff. So he talks about the difference between the risk and the reward of it, right? The risk and the reward of it. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, right? Gifting a pair of shoes that I already had to spend $150, $200 on just the shoe itself. Plus, I put hours and hours and hours of work in, and then to gift that shoe to somebody, that initial Risk is hard. It's hard because you know that you put $500, $1,000 worth of work and time and effort into something that's a gift. And then to give it away and not know that you're going to get something back from it is frightening. But sometimes, and you heard it from Serrato himself, sometimes, right, the reward is way, way bigger. It's created more opportunities. It put him in the spaces that he needed to be. It opened doors for him, just as the scripture said. Using that gift and giving that gift will open doors. It will make space for you. It will make opportunities for you. I'll ask you again, what is your gift? And you say, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what my gift is. What are you passionate about? What is the thing that you've inherited? Just like you've heard all of the people on today's episode talk about how they've inherited their gift. And then what is the thing that comes easiest to you? Is it writing? Is it singing? Is it speaking? Are you a mathematician? What is it? What is your gift? Right? Pour into that, because that's what's going to open doors for you. Share that, because that's what's going to put you in the right rooms, in the right spaces, and the right influencers. Use your gift. Figure out what your gift is. Hone it. Share it. Until next time, remember, fear is fake. Creating is problem solving. Peace. If you like this episode and you want to see more like it, check out these episodes over here. And don't forget to subscribe.
Whoa, listen, it takes wisdom to grab these sneakers and spin them. Cut a couple of linen and match them up with the denim core. Dollar Dito, he'll cook it up like the kilo. And have your Air Ones appropriate with the stilo. He's no Lilo, but he's mean with the stitch.